So we're going to be looking at Snow White again, meaning the huntsman, but we're going to be looking at it using figurative language. So figurative language is something that helps us visualize the text. It helps us create pictures in our minds to see what's going on. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on a type of figurative language called similes. And similes, if you remember all the way back from second grade, they're when we compare two unlike things using the word like. So let me make this a little bigger. Using the word like or using the word as. So we might say he is like a lion, where you're comparing he to a lion. Or she is as smart as Albert Einstein. We're comparing the she to Albert Einstein. So I'm going to read this first paragraph, and I want to see if you guys can find some similes in there. So let's zoom on in. Remember, we're looking for those likes or those as. Once upon a time in midwinter, when the snowflakes were falling like feathers from heaven. Ooh, I see that word like. So I'm going to underline it because it probably might be a simile. A queen sat sewing at her window. The window had a frame of black ebony wood. As she sewed, she looked up at the snow and pricked her finger with her needle. 3 drops of blood fell into the snow. The red on the white looked so beautiful that she thought to herself, if only I had a child as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as the wood in this frame. So there's some things that I see in here, but this one right here has some similes going on. So there's a lot, so I'm going to put a star next to it. Now this language creates an image in my mind. I placed a star next to a child as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as the wood in this frame. The word as signals the use of a simile. The author makes comparisons between the child that the queen would like to have and some common things like snow, blood, and wood. So she's comparing the child to snow, blood, and wood. That color that each of those represent. I imagine the child to have skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as the wood. So that's what the color is representing in my brain. Her lips, her hair, and her skin. So now I have an idea of what Snow White will look like. So I understand how she gets her name. Now, there are some other similes in here. What's going to help us identify a simile in this passage? Well, one of the things is going to be whenever I see like or as. That's going to mean it's a, oops, not that one. That means it's going to be probably a simile. As white as snow, as red as blood, as black. So whenever I see that, there's going to be some similes going on. So what do we have here? Snowflakes were falling. So we're comparing falling snowflakes to falling feathers from heaven. So that's another simile. Let's see if we can find any more. Well, if we head on over to paragraph 16 on our next page, we're going to see some as well. So let's zoom in now to paragraph 16 and see if we can find some there. The queen took fright and turned yellow and green with envy. So what do we see here? Some good imagery, but there's no simile. So let's keep reading and see if we can find one in this one. Let's go to this bottom because I noticed this like jumps out at me. The envy and pride grew ever greater, like a weed in her heart. So what's it comparing here? It's comparing envy and pride to a weed. So they're saying these things are what's growing. So these bad feelings are like weeds in a garden. Now, what does this mean? It means that the queen's jealousy is growing fast and kind of crowds out her better feelings, just like a weed grows fast and crowds out better plants. Let's look at paragraph 20 now. See if we can find a simile in here. So remember, I'm seeing if there's the word like or as that jumps out. Dun dun. And look, it jumps out. So now I'm going to read around it and see if there is a simile there. But it was as if a stone had fallen from his heart, for he would not have to kill her. So what are we comparing here? We're comparing a stone to his heart. So the huntsman's dread His fear of killing Snow White is like a stone pressing on his heart. So that's what this it was. It's that dread. And what's it been comparing to? A stone falling from his heart. So this one's a little trickier because that it isn't really showing us what it's talking about. So we have to think. So it's that feeling, that dread. Oops, it jumped me over here. So what does this mean? Well, it means that he has relief about not having to kill her. That's what this simile is telling us. He's relieved. Now, how can we figure out one more time what two things are being compared? We have to look at what it's talking about. So sometimes it's easy, like he is as fast as a boar. We know that he would be a person, and a boar is like a pig. So we know they're saying the person's fast like a pig. But there are difficult ones like this right here, where we may not know what it's talking about, and we really have to think, it. It's that feeling. Good job, guys, and I hope you are ready for similes when we do our writing for your fairy tales.